Tonight, we revisit one of cinema's most iconic legacies, a character who has shaped generations of action heroes, a name recognized in every corner of the world, Bond, James Bond. Yet, in the 21st century, this legendary franchise has undergone a seismic transformation. Once the undisputed king of action films, Bond suddenly found itself surrounded by fierce competition, from the Bourne universe, Mission Impossible thrillers, increasingly chaotic, fast and furious adventures, and the global takeover of superhero franchises. To survive, Bond needed more than charisma, martinis, and gadgets. He needed reinvention. That reinvention began with the end of Pierce Brosnan's era, and a bold new interpretation of the agent who could kill with composure and charm. Daniel Craig arrived, rougher around the edges, emotionally complex, and dangerously human. And through this shift, the modern Bond was reborn. However, before Craig could elevate the role, the 21st century delivered one of the most divisive Bond films ever made, Die Another Day, sitting at the very bottom of our ranking in terms of entertainment value. This film stands as an example of ambition gone off track. Rather than embracing grounded espionage, the franchise tumbled into absurdity. The movie's overly cartoonish gadgets, bizarrely unrealistic set pieces, and science fiction-like technology stripped the character of its sophistication. Bond surfing a wave onto North Korean territory, invisible cars, artificial diamond faces. The film seemed more interested in spectacle than storytelling. Even with powerhouse stars like Halle Berry and Rosamund Pike, their characters were underdeveloped, lacking the nuance worthy of their talent. The result wasn't fun bad, it was confusing, tonal chaos. What makes Die Another Day even more disappointing is the lost potential. Pierce Brosnan was still capable of delivering a memorable conclusion to his version of Bond. Cool, witty, and refined, yet vulnerable. Instead, the film left him without a proper farewell, leading some fans to campaign for his return in a future film, solely to redeem his legacy. The failure of this ambitious but misguided spectacle triggered something important. It forced the Bond producers to reconsider what audiences wanted. Not exaggerated fantasy, but thematic weight. Not a superhero, but a secret agent we could believe. And so, the franchise turned sharply, trading glossy excess for grit, tension, and psychological depth. This new direction came with Quantum of Solace, ranked low not because it's silly, but because it struggled to follow brilliance. Coming after Casino Royale, which revived the franchise with emotional complexity, Quantum of Solace felt oddly rushed. Filmed during the infamous Hollywood writers' strike, much of its script was incomplete, leaving Daniel Craig and director Mark Forster to improvise narrative ideas as they went. The result is a film overwhelmed by action, but lacking catharsis. Bond becomes a relentless force, more weapon than man, as if the trauma introduced in Casino Royale can only be communicated through violence. The story behind the mysterious quantum organization, meant to expand the franchise's mythology, ends up feeling thin, like a shadow of Spectre, rather than something fresh. Still, Judi Dench delivers a masterful performance as M, grounding the chaos with clarity, grief, and authority, reminding audiences of the emotional stakes beneath the bullets. As we move up the list, we encounter films that not only entertained, but shaped Bond's identity for a new generation. And at the center of this modern resurgence stands Casino Royale, a powerful reset that stripped away outdated formulas and rebuilt the character from the ground up. Rather than relying on flashy gadgets or playful womanizing, this Bond confronted emotional vulnerability, moral conflict, and genuine loss. Daniel Craig emerged as a Bond capable of breaking bones while having his own heart shattered. His chemistry with Eva Green's Vesper Lynd delivered one of the franchise's most complex relationships, reminding audiences that Bond isn't simply a machine for action. Casino Royale balanced tension, romance, and raw humanity, propelling the series into its most critically praised era in decades. It wasn't just a film, it was a relaunch of Bond's soul, proving realism could be as thrilling as spectacle. But if Casino Royale rebuilt Bond, Skyfall crowned him. Considered one of the most stylish and emotionally resonant entries in the franchise, Skyfall stands near the top of the ranking for its impeccable direction under Sam Mendes. The film dives deeper into Bond's psyche, exploring his aging, his loyalty, and his complicated bond with M. Javier Bardem's villain, Silva, pushed the narrative into terrifyingly personal territory, exposing government secrets and turning espionage into a battle of betrayal. Meanwhile, Roger Deakins' cinematography elevated the movie into visual art, from neon-lit Shanghai to the haunting finale in the Scottish Highlands. Skyfall didn't just entertain, it honored Bond's legacy while boldly pushing it forward, redefining what a blockbuster could be. It became a cultural moment, rather than merely a film release. Following such success, Spectre faced immense pressure to live up to expectations. While it ranks mid-tier in entertainment value, it offers moments of striking execution and nostalgic callbacks. Christoph Waltz's portrayal of Blofeld was ambitious, though the film's attempt to tie every event in Craig's tenure back to this single villain felt forced. Still, the opening sequence in Mexico City during Dia de los Muertos remains one of the most stunning in Bond history. Brimming with precision and atmospheric tension, the film walks a tightrope between modern realism and older Bond theatricality, resulting in an uneven yet undeniably entertaining experience. It's not a triumph like Skyfall, but it manages to hold audience attention through style, action, and the confidence of a franchise sure of its identity, yet still searching for a final note. The final chapter of the Craig era arrives with No Time to Die, a daring and controversial entry that ranks high due to its emotional boldness and thematic ambition. For the first time in the franchise's long history, Bond becomes not just a spy, but a father, a partner, and a man burdened by the cost of his life's work. The film challenges the audience's expectations, asking whether the world still needs a hero like Bond, or whether the sacrifices required for such a life are too tragic to sustain. Craig's farewell is both explosive and devastating, culminating in a finale that divides fans yet undeniably pushes the franchise into unprecedented territory. It's a farewell that doesn't just close a chapter, it forces us to reconsider what kind of hero Bond can be in the modern world. In the end, the 21st century hasn't weakened James Bond, it has redefined him. From misguided spectacle to raw character drama, the franchise has bent under pressure, adapted to global competition, and emerged with deeper storytelling, stronger emotional stakes, and a willingness to evolve. Although debates will continue over who should inherit the tuxedo next, the legacy left by Craig has raised expectations beyond gadgets and glamour. Viewers now demand intelligence alongside intensity, authenticity alongside action, and as the world waits for the next 007, one truth remains. Whether shaken or stirred by change, James Bond is still capable of surprising us. In an era where heroes are often loud and invincible, Bond stands apart by reminding us that vulnerability, sacrifice, and identity are the most explosive elements of any story.